This is another quick episode of What's Next. What's next for Megan Anderson? She went in there for her UFC debut and had to take that L. It is what it is. I hope that she doesn't tuck her tail and run and hide. It is quite obvious that she does need to do a little bit more training. Like, she needs to sharpen up her skills a lot more. She does not have the experience to fight a Holly Holm or a number one contender yet. She needs to go ahead and move up the rankings very slowly. Sadly, the UFC has no rankings for the featherweight division. You know, they have no rankings for the featherweight division. They don't even have it on the website. I'm not even joking. There's nothing on the website for Chris Cyborg. And that's probably why Chris Cyborg is ready to retire. Not retire, but go over to boxing anyways. I think she's just so over the UFC and the way the way that they have treated her. But you know, Chris Cyborg is such a nice person that she's not vocal against the promotion. She's vocal against the fighters, but she's not vocal against the promotion. Anyways, Megan Anderson needs to basically go back to the woodshed. She needs to go back to the woodshed and sharpen up her skills. She needs to sharpen up. She needs to do a little bit more rolling on the mat, sharpen up her ground game. Sharpen up her ground game and just realize that now that you've been submitted before. Now, she wasn't submitted in the Holly Holm match, but she's been submitted, and now she's, getting tossed around by Holly Holm, who is so much smaller than her. She needs to go ahead and hit the mat in the woodshed. I'm talking about drills after drills after drills after drills. And, there's really nobody for her to fight. But I think if she wants to take a fight, like in the next 6 months, then she can go ahead and fight. I think she should fight Yana Kunitskaya. Go ahead and fight Yana, and that's not for any number one contender. That's not for anything. Just fight her and try to get a win under your belt. And then after they do the tough season with the featherweights, then you'll have a whole laundry list of featherweights that she can fight next. So right now, I think she should go ahead, fight Yana Kunitskaya, try to get a win under your belt before all these new featherweights come in. As soon as these featherweights come in, I think they're gonna jump you in the line. They're gonna skip you in the line. Megan Anderson had no business coming to the UFC. She really should have waited and fought in Invicta. And then when the tough season came, she could have just went right over to tough, and she would have won tough. Then she could have come into the UFC with a little bit more fanfare. But it looks like right now, like the fanfare that she has was all a farce. It was all a farce because she didn't look good. She was cutting off the octagon very well, and she has a very sharp right hand. But she needs to be able to play with that range a lot more. She has so many things that are on her side that I'm not sure how she just completely looks so, like, the fight looked one-sided. So next time she needs to put up a better fight. And the only way that she can do that is by going back to the woodshed and staying in the octagon. She doesn't have the experience. She was on Submission Radio and she was so upset. She was like, people need to stop saying that I don't have the experience. You don't. You need to open up your ears. We don't mean it in a bad way. You just don't have the experience for these top-notch fighters. Think about if you went in there with Chris Cyborg, she'd have been busted up. Chris Cyborg has no mercy. Nobody's exempt from that busted up face that you're going to walk out of the octagon with. Nobody is exempt. Not when Chris Cyborg's in that octagon with you. So, it's good on her to go ahead and take that fight with Holly and not Chris. That's one duck that I understand. I understand ducking that one. She said something little. She spoke out of turn by saying that she could beat her, and then Ariel Helwani put her on blast by bringing Chris Cyborg on the show, and then she realized I'm out of my depth. I'm out here in the deep water. I don't have a paddle. I don't have a boat. So I'm okay with that duck. Reel that one back in. Run that back. Just pull back a little bit. And then, refocus. I like that she refocused with Holly Holm, but she still was out of depth. She needs to now pull it even back further. And Yana Kunitskaya is what's next for Megan Anderson.